What's up everyone, Vu of Envu Films, and I'm back with another idiotic video for you to watch. Today, let's talk about 2019 and how it is pretty much come and gone. This is New Year's Eve. Tomorrow will be the first day of 2020 and I am prepared. I'm prepared to go into 2020 with Sony and all it has to offer. Hopefully, all of these things here will go well with my new Sony a7S III if and hopefully it is released this year, you dirty bastards, Sony, with your delay. But yeah, 2019 has been very interesting for me. It's been a very busy time. It was my full year being a video creator, the videographer, filmmaker, or what have you, full time. I officially quit doing accounting last December, and this is my first full year doing videography as my main primary source of income, doing commercial work for a marketing firm and doing my own work, doing wedding videography and idiotic YouTube videos. And again, thank you for subscribing to me in 2019, and hopefully I will continue to produce this content for you in the future. So to start off 2020, what do I have to go into 2020 with? Obviously, I'm still with Sony. I have not switched over to the Canon EOS R yet because I prefer sharp video footage and I know how to grade. So there's some people who don't know how to grade. They need to use EOS R because color science is better. Or they just prefer soft footage, which if I wanted soft footage, I would just shoot Sony at 1080 and downscale to 420p and it'll look exactly like Canon EOS R 4K footage. Now, moving on to more serious matters, let's look at what I'm going into 2020 with. First, we have my first Sony a7 III, which has attached the new Sigma 2470 DG DN. DN stands for D's Nuts, as I've mentioned in my past two reviews of this lens. This is a fantastic lens, and if you are a Sony shooter, regardless if you're a prime shooter, zoom shooter, or whatever, I highly recommend you get this lens, whether it be your main lens or just like a backup lens for 2470 zoom versatility. I highly recommend you get this lens because hey, it's only like $1,099. Yes, it sounds expensive to some people, but if you're a professional or high-end hobbyist, at least I highly recommend get this lens to be part of your Sony mirrorless kit. And of course, it'll go great with the new Sony a7S III when that arrives in 2020. I have another Sony a7 III here. Attached with it, a Sony 55mm f1.8 lens as a compact 50mm range that I use. I also have here a 50mm f1.4 Zeiss, which I had attempted to sell and I sold. Something was wrong with it. The buyer returned it. I had it repaired and I kept it. This is just a fantastic 50mm lens. It's super high quality, super sharp, great, as Dustin Abbott would say, bokeh. And it's just a fantastic lens. I decided to keep it when I'm trying to do the high-end work, more image quality specific type work. This 50mm is just no joke, and I just feel like I should just keep it. Even though I have a 55 here, I should just keep this just in case I'm going to use it for a fancy shoot. Also here I have a 24mm f1.4 G Master. So many reviews have been talked about already regarding this lens. This is an amazing lens. It's wide, it's 24mm, and there's little to no distortion in the image. It's super sharp and it's small and light. It's a great travel lens. So I have it in my kit, as well as the new 35mm f1.8. This lens is also fantastic. Plenty of reviews out there. I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video. The Portrait Master 85mm f1.4 GM. If you're a portrait photographer, you do videography type portraits, interviews, and you just want like amazing image quality, get the 85 f1.4. It is the best overall Sony lens in my opinion. It's just telephoto is kind of tough. Like 85mm is pretty tight, especially for like wedding use, but when I can, I always try to use 85 just because it's an amazing lens. I also have another amazing lens here is the 135 Sony G Master lens. This is, again, 1,000 reviews out there. This is one of the best Sony lenses you could get. 135 millimeter f1.8 G Master. Also, this is a must-have kit if you're a professional. This is a 70 to 200 f2.8 G Master. Pretty much, if you are a professional photographer, videographer, and you don't have this, you should definitely have this in your kit. I mean, a lens of this range, telephoto range, is a necessity, especially if you're doing weddings, events, etc. You definitely need a 7200 G Master. And of course, I have this D-bag Tamron 17 to 28. I just need it just in case I need to do super wide angle stuff. So most of the time, if I'm using this lens, is at the 17 millimeter range. I used to have the 1635 G Master, but I don't use wide angle enough to justify having a $2,000 plus lens in my kit that I barely use. So I replaced it with a Tamron 17 millimeter to 17 to 28 millimeter, just in case I need wide angle. And it's cheap. It's under like $800, so it's okay to just sit in my bag, and I will use it if I need it. And now comes two lenses I still haven't questioned. I have a 90 millimeter macro and an 85 millimeter f1.8, which I do not know if I'm going to continue to carry with me through 2020, as I have an 85 G Master, and most of the lenses I have now, the 24 millimeter, the 35 millimeter, the 24-70 DG D's Nuts Sigma, and the Tamron 1728, they all have good close focusing ability, and I seldom shoot like super macro, rarely ever. And if I do need some type of macro work, I could use these other lenses here. So I am beginning to think I will not need this 90 millimeter macro going forward. And of course, this 85 millimeter, I've kept it because it's the first 85 millimeter I bought, and it's so small, and I was going to use it for travel instead of lugging around this 85 millimeter f1.8. But now, the more I think of it, I'm thinking I'm going to have to get rid of this one also, just to, there's no need to have two, like if I want to travel, I might as well just carry this big lug around, this big thing. It's not that big of a deal, but it's something I'll be thinking about going into 2020 in terms of cleaning up my lens collection just a bit. And of course, I cannot forget the 16 millimeter Sigma f1.4 that is currently mounted on the Sony Alpha 6600, filming this dumb video right now. And also for the 6600, I have this 56 millimeter f1.4 lens I use for some lightweight photo and video work when I feel like it. Why do I have all these lenses other than the fact that I have gas? Well, it's because I don't like renting stuff. I feel like there's more value when I buy it, and if I don't need it anymore, I just sell it. And two, I actually use all of these lenses from time to time here and there. But we'll see going into 2020 if I find that I will not need anything in some of these lenses. I know 135 is always used, 85 is always used, and the 7200 is always used during weddings. 100%. These other lenses here, 50, 24, 55, they come and go, especially now that I have the Sigma. I don't know if I'm going to continue to stick with doing prime work or not. I'm definitely keeping this 35 though, because I'm liking this portrait use, but we're going to have to see where I go with. We're going to have to go see where I go with going forward, and see where I move with this direction. Other than that, this has been a very dumb video. My mind is all over the place. I wished all of you had a great 2019. I would say my 2019 has been quite reasonably successful, but it has also not been successful, as yes, on my career side, I have accomplished quite a bit doing wedding films, doing commercial videography work, building my YouTube channel. I think I gained probably a solid 2,000 subscribers over this past year. And again, thank you very much. But one thing I feel like I have failed is spending more time with my family and friends, and keep my personal relationships built intact. That is my biggest goal for 2020. I feel like as long as I continue to improve my work and have passion about my video work and my creation work, that all those things will come. Um, as long as I continue my drive and passion for this kind of work, I think that success will come. But my 2020 goal is to put forth a bigger effort towards spending more time with my family, wife, daughter, close friends, and just being with my loved ones more. That is my goal because life is very short. And at times, this world we live in now, social media, all this stuff, you see all this amazing stuff going on. People posting all this crazy stuff on your YouTube, their Instagram, social media, and then you feel like if you don't keep up, you're left behind. But sometimes I think it's good to just stay where it is more important to be. And that is definitely my one major goal for 2020 is to have more free time, have quality time where my mind is not on all this different stuff, and just focus on spending quality time with family and friends. Um, yeah, this is it, guys, for 2019, and I look forward to what 2020 has to offer. As always, lighten up, God bless, and have a happy new year.